Hi guys, this is Bobby. Today we're going to be looking at the newly released Medal of Honor Warfighter. This is one of my personal favourite games, and obviously being in the UK I've got to wait an extra few days for a release, which really sucks. But from some of the gameplay I've seen on YouTube and some of the live streams, it has been fantastic, and I honestly can't wait for it. I know obviously there's been a lot of complaints, and as with every new game, there's a lot of people that don't like some of the features in the game, but I think a lot of the stuff I've seen I like. I know there's a few things that have got to be fixed in patches, but that's understandable. Today we're going to be looking at a round of Team Deathmatch on Harvard Dunes, and I think it's one of my favourite maps at the moment. It's very interesting for gameplay, and it has some of the more complex designs in the map. So we're just going to get that started now, and as usual the first thing we're going to notice as once the video starts is the in-game menus. Basically this is where you pre-select all of your kind of kits and everything, much like Battlefield obviously, with your assault and recon and things like that. Obviously this has got different names and different perks and different things like that. Obviously it's one of the things I really like about the game, and I think is going to be one of the big selling points for the game. As the game starts, you notice that it's very high quality. Obviously with the Frostbite 2 servers, it's something obviously one of the reasons I'm thinking of buying the game. As we get into the video here, one of the things I've spotted I don't really like is the wobble on the scope, even though it's a small scope. And the next thing here is very obvious. Seems to be the hipfire accuracy is ridiculous. It seems to be overly accurate almost at hipfire, almost as accurate as it is down the scope. But apart from that, I think that's a good start to the video there. One of the things here you're going to notice as well is the kill cam. A lot of people have had a lot of problems with this and don't really like it. I don't see why not, to be honest, because it's one of my favourite features. You get to see your kill in slow-mo, and you get to see what the other person's using. Maybe you can pick up some ideas and move on to grow from that. As we move through the video here, obviously you see again some of the graphics. I do like a lot of the graphics, but I think they need to work on them a little bit more. It's obviously some of the stuff seems a little squared off, but I obviously think as the game advances, Frostbite 2 will take more of an effect and will become a more generalised part of the game. As we go around this corner here, you're going to notice something. It seems as if hit markers don't have an effect. That guy there obviously shot with some kind of shotgun or some high powered rifle, and it only took 70% of health off. Obviously with a shotgun you're not going to be expected to get back up again after you finish with that. So I think that's again something that they're going to work on. And obviously there's been mentions of the nerfing of some of the weapons, which I think is a good idea, but obviously we're going to have to see how that rolls out now. As we go through the game again, we see the weapon design there while the guy's reloading. It's a really smooth design on the weapons. It's obviously something they've moved on from Battlefield 3 and taken to the next level. It's a really nice design on the weapons, and obviously that goes through all of them, from the rifles to the pistols. It's brilliant detail that they've taken, and time taken to design weapons like that. As the spawn here, as you notice, kind of the back of the truck, very squared off, something that I've picked up on. Here comes up, quite a nice kill just around this corner, and I think that's just, it demonstrates the powerfulness of this gun. Obviously that kill there was, he was kind of gut shots, and obviously, he ripped through there. Obviously, a lot of people complain that the guns have been nerfed too much, but this weapon here, I think it's a QRB, seems a lot more powerful than a lot of guns, as demonstrated just here. As you can see there, that kind of he almost makes the kill through the wall, but obviously that's something I'm going to go on to talk about in a minute, is what is Frostbite 2 servers but doesn't seem to be Battlefield 3 anymore, which is a real shame. Obviously as we're just waiting for the spawn menu here, it just comes through now. Obviously this is kind of another thing that I'm not liking, is obviously the way it spawns you, because the maps aren't Call of Duty size, they're not really small close combat, but they're not Battlefield 3. It just seems to kind of spawn you out of the way a little bit, and it's obviously, I know there's no buddy system on this game at the moment because there's no buddy in the game, but obviously it just kind of spawns you quite a way out. As we're going through here, this is something I like, but obviously this is something now that I'm not really liking, is going through the system here, coming through this building here. A tango pops his head through the window and you think, oh, that's an easy kill, take him. Battlefield 3, I would have, the guy there with the LMG would have torn through him through the wall, but instead he pops back around the window without any damage on him and takes the guy out. And that's obviously something that's very disappointing, and I hope DICE pick onto very quickly, because it's something that Battlefield 3 always had an advantage for. Something again, the spawns here, the guy has just spawned in the top of the building in, you know, what looks like a sniper position. That seems a bit of a strange spawn to make. Obviously it's something that needs to be worked on. But obviously, you know, it's something that is going to be worked. You know, patches are going to come out and are going to bring, you know, improvements and, you know, new things to the game. And obviously, you know, I can't wait for that. But obviously that's the thing that's holding the game back now, with a lot of people that are complaining about problems with the game. Anyway, moving on now. This is one of my favourite parts of the map. This seems very detailed and, you know, very selective. It looks very good behind there, and obviously with the little flags there, it looks really nice as well. One thing I've noticed, obviously, just back then, the game sound. Some of the guns, I mean, a lot of people making the comments of a lot of them sound like pea shooters. They just kind of like spitting rounds out. Obviously the guy that we're filming here, the QBR, the gun is fantastic. You know, you can hear it's so meaty and so manly, the gun. It's got proper pounding force on it and you can hear it. Obviously a lot of the pistols as well, especially the Spec Op pistol that comes as standard with the kit, is a really meaty weapon and sounds fantastic. But obviously, you know, that's something I know that they've mentioned in patches, is the sound patches. Obviously the communication system as well isn't working too well. That was a nice kill there. Communication system is something that needs to be worked on, because obviously, you know, some of the games you can't hear anyone until the end of the round, and then it's just everyone piled into one game, and you know, you can't hear anything. But obviously, you know, I've not had a problem myself. You know, a lot of people have said that the buddy system thing works really well. It's just a shame you can't toggle between hearing your team and your buddy, or, you know, separately kind of thing. But obviously it's something again that they're working on, and I know it's going to be a fantastic system as soon as all the little problems and glitches that are worked out. This is a thing here as well that a lot of people have talked about, is the way that the game's put together. They seem that the graphics, I know I mentioned before, a lot of it seems squared off. This guy obviously looking through the window, you can see a lot of the graphics, and as he turns around the window here to face right hand side, you'll notice the top of the truck, it seems very squared off, and it just seems, you know, Frostbite 2 just hasn't had its power released in this game yet, and it's an awful shame, because the game is got massive potential. It is basically it's the perfect combination between Call of Duty and Battlefield. Obviously you've got Battlefield with the graphics and the large maps, and then you've got Call of Duty with the close combat, fast-paced action. And obviously this is going to bring those together, and I think it's going to be a massive hit once the issues have been fixed. But obviously, you know, I've mentioned a lot of the issues and not many of the pros, but, you know, as I said at the start of the video, this is one of my favourite looking games. It looks really fantastic, and I cannot wait for it to come out. It's going to be a fantastic release in the UK, and I hope a lot of my friends are going to be picking it up. Because obviously, you know, I'm going to be, you know, the Battlefield 3 is going to take a back step while this game is out at the moment. You know, obviously Battlefield 3 has started to die down a little bit now, which is an awful shame, because it is such a fantastic game. But obviously I think the idea with this game is obviously to bridge the gap that Battlefield could never bridge with Call of Duty, as the smaller maps and the more action-packed game. And I hope that a lot of Call of Duty players will pick up on this and find it a lot more interesting. Obviously that's one of my favourite little kills right there, with the little pickaxe there, just coming through and slicing through someone. It's a great thing, and obviously you get an extra point for getting a humiliation kill, which is fantastic. But, you know, as I said, there's a lot of pros with this game, and just, you know, a few cons that a lot of people seem to be repeating over and over and over again, which makes them seem a lot worse than they actually are. And it's an awful shame, because this game is fantastic, and I really can't wait for it to properly bed in, and, you know, packs to start coming out, patches to start coming out, and everything that's going to bridge the gap even more than it already is. As you can see there, the game was lost, but it was a great little gameplay, and it was a great advantage to look across the whole map. Hope you've enjoyed the video, guys, and if you'd like, just subscribe, that would be great. Obviously that was great. Alright guys, look forward to speaking to you again in my next video. Thank you very much.